What's up, YouTube? My name's Ray Oliva.
And I'm Chris Harris, and you're watching BlanketFaced TV News by the Minute.
This is the show where we cover a bunch of different topics at about a minute at a time.
Not gonna happen this time.
But with that being said, let's get to it.
Sports.
So it's pretty well known that Conor McGregor is the most influential person in the UFC. After the fall of Ronda Rousey to Holly Holm, McGregor quickly took over as the face of the sport. And next week, he plans on doing something that's never been done in the UFC before. He's going to take on Rafael dos Anjos in a lightweight title fight to potentially become the first UFC fighter to hold a belt in two different weight classes. Or is he? See, the original plan was for McGregor to move from feather to lightweight, beat dos Anjos, and by default become the most badass fighter in the game. But news broke early Tuesday morning that Rafael dos Anjos suffered a broken foot and will no longer be able to defend his title on March 5th. Now, for anyone who was excited to watch UFC 196, there is still hope. Holly Holm will be taking on Miesha Tate, and although RDA won't be able to fight, they are looking for a replacement, but no one in particular has been picked yet. Also, there still hasn't been a report on how dos Anjos managed to break his foot, but I mean, it might not have been for the worst. Now, I'm not saying he would have lost. I'm just saying it might have saved him from this, or more recently this. Now, not much has been said by McGregor yet in reaction to the injury, but I'm sure as soon as he gets in front of a camera, or the opportunity to get in front of a camera, he'll take it and we'll get a great reaction in coveted McGregor fashion. Now, personally, I'm just trying to figure out what it's going to be like if McGregor happened to lose to the replacement. That shit would be crazy.
Politics.
What would a News by the Minute segment be if we didn't talk about the 2016 election and the beloved Donald J. Trump? Donald managed to strike again Tuesday as he compared his leading opponent in the GOP, Ted Cruz, to a, quote, soft, weak little baby. This happened in front of his followers in Nevada. Oh, I said followers. It's like they're a cult. It's disgusting. Sometimes I feel like when Donald doesn't actually have anything to say about how he'll really make America great again, he just opts to bash his opponents in order to fill time slots. So with Jeb out, what should we say?
You should probably talk about changes you make as president, sir.
I think I'm gonna call Cruz a baby.
No, that doesn't really do well.
It'll be funny.
You should talk about what you're gonna
I'm gonna call Ted a baby.
But,
Ted, you're a baby. I wrecked him.
Sure.
I mean, really, does this man have a PR team? At what point do we stop caring about what one candidate thinks about another candidate and start caring about what they'll do and their integrity? Now, I'm not particularly a fan of Cruz, but I will say that I appreciate the way that he reacted to the stunt by Trump, saying that as Donald gets more rattled, he loses control and just starts giving more and more personal attacks. Quite frankly, I don't understand how all of his supporters don't seem to get that his attacks are completely baseless. He even said that the only reason he hasn't attacked Rubio yet is because the Florida senator hasn't attacked him either, and that he wants Rubio to attack him so that he can retaliate because it's more fun that way. It just starts to seem like this has gone from presidential election to a middle school one. And quite honestly, as someone who's going to be voting for the first time in 2016, I'm embarrassed.
People. Earlier today, Canadian comedian and Vine star Just Rain was stopped by the TSA when trying to board a flight. Surprise, it was because he was wearing a turban. Now, initially, he refused to take it off because it takes a super long time to put it back on and he didn't want to miss his flight. However, the TSA absolutely insisted. They took him to a private screening room, had him take it off, saw there was nothing there, and then he asked for a mirror to put it back on. How dare he? The TSA told him to walk to a bathroom in the terminal and put it back on there. What's the point of the private screening room? Okay, let me ask the larger question. He claims the turban is just made of cloth, which was proved when they took him to the private screening room. How would it have been different if he went through the super x-ray tube machine that I have to go through, where supposedly they can see through all my clothes, which, surprise, are also made of cloth? Couldn't they just see right through the turban if he had something there, and then put him in the private screening room? I don't get it. Then they made him walk to the bathroom without the turban. Obviously, this is already contrary to his values, taking off the turban in public. He didn't want to do it in the first place. How is he willing to do it after he's taken it off to prove to you that he was right in the first place? Many people are calling this a case of xenophobia. They're saying it's culturally insensitive. What do you think? What would you have done in either of the parties' shoes? What would you have done if you were asked to take off your turban? What would you have done if you were the TSA and you think that it's a threat to security? Let me know in the comments.
International.
Your favorite prison facility and mine is back in the news. That's right, folks. Gitmo is making headlines. If you don't know anything about it, here's a story made relatively short. Guantanamo Bay is a prison facility located at the Guantanamo Naval Base in Cuba. It's surrounded by so much controversy because when it was founded in 2002, it was not technically considered under U.S. legal jurisdiction. Hence, the prisoners there were not given certain human rights established in the Geneva Convention. So we started putting the absolute worst of the worst terrorists in there ever. Eventually, the UN got involved, partial human rights were established, but the facility continues to exist even today. From the beginning of his presidency, Obama has been trying to close the facility. He issued an executive order on his second day in office to close it. However, that just didn't happen. But earlier today, he released his official plan of how he's going to close the camp for good. Now, let's just take a quick head count. When Guantanamo Bay opened, it had 779 detainees. At the beginning of Obama's presidency, it had 242. Today, it has only 91. Now, today Obama said that 35 of these detainees have already been approved for transfer to other countries. And about the remaining, he says that they can be either transferred to other countries that meet our national security standards, or they can be put in prisons on U.S. soil. Here's the problem. In November 2015, the Senate voted to ban any Guantanamo Bay prisoners from coming to the U.S. ever, at all, not coming. So what Obama wants to do here, putting them in maximum security prisons, is just not legal. It's not going to happen unless he gets it passed through the legislative branch, which is not going to happen. Nonetheless, this hasn't stopped him from making comments about the moral concerns of the prison camp. Today he claimed that keeping this facility open is contrary to our values. It undermines our standing in the world. It is viewed as a stain on our broader record of upholding the highest standards of rule of law. So even though he can't do anything, I'm glad he got to get his opinion out there. But let me ask, what are your opinions on this? Do you think Guantanamo Bay should stay open? Do you think it's safe to have terrorists on U.S. soil? Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this week's News by the Minute. I'm Chris Harris.
And I'm Ray Oliva. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And for all of our other videos, check out our channel. We just started Mitchell's Rants too.
Also remember to check us out on Twitter and Soundcloud at BlanketFaced. And if you have any ideas for the shows, email us at blanketfaceproductions@gmail.com.
Bye.
See you later.